A very good evening and be to honorable panel and audience. Before we begin today's forum, I would like to thank everyone involved for giving me and also my panel this opportunity. As for today, we are going to talk about global effective communication promotes peace and prosperity. Just now was the big idea for today's forum. As we go down, we would like to talk about effective communication. So, what is actually effective communication? Effective communication is actually an ability for someone to have conversation with another person, which is in a way that is engaging. Engaging that we mean here is that when someone is speaking with us, we are responding well. Other than that, it is clarity. The clarity that we mean here is that when we give an opinion to a person, try to be a good listener before giving an opinion. The above meaning is very important for us to follow in our daily life as effective communication prevents us from conflict. Conflict that we mean here is that problems that may arise when we are speaking with another person or having a conversation with our co-workers or even students or our friends. Other than that, it is also to solve a problem when problem arise. Second, it is very important for us to follow effective communication as it builds trust. Trust over here we mean is that we can mingle with everyone because with the way we speak, it allows a person to trust us and also they can speak with us without any issue and they also find it very easy to converse with us. And for today, we will be talking about global effective communication. To explain about this more in detail, I would like to ask our first panel that how can we actually promote peace and prosperity through effective communication?
Uh, I would like to thank you for Sankri as the moderator. So now I'm going to talk about how to promote peace and prosperity through effective communication. There are many ways that we can do to promote peace and prosperity. Everyone knows that I will take a country as an example. Malaysia is the only country that has multiracial nation like Malay, India, and Chinese. Yes, there are lots of races in Malaysia, and of course, everyone must have thought that it is difficult to have peace and prosperity regarding that we have many races. But actually, it is very easy if we want to promote the right way to get peace and prosperity in a country. This country can also have peace and prosperity if they use the same way too. So the first thing that we can do is we cannot be racist towards each others. For example, Chinese can only cooperate with their own race, and the Indians, including the Malay, talk about their own races too. Things like this is so wrong. It is because we are one nation. If we are living in the same country, that means we are one nation. Okay, so we cannot be racist towards each other. We live in the country together. So it is natural to cooperate with each others. Second is respect other cultures, religion, and also races. When it is Chinese New Year, for example, Malays and Indians can also celebrate with them. Also respect them when celebrating with them. Same goes to the Indians. When the Indians celebrate Deepavali, we also must respect them. Respect is very important because it can give a huge impact among the people. Okay. You also can teach your children about this. So this way can promote to the young people how to respect other races. If racism gets out of hand, our country will cause to fight to each other, and racial unity will be divided. This will cause Malaysia to not be able to live in a state of peace and prosperity in the world. After that, we also must teach children, and you also must know, and you or ourselves also must know how to respect other races. For your information, younger people nowadays uh, learns things more easily and fast. So it is a very effective way that we should apply from childhood. So we must teach them to be nice to everyone, regardless of their age, gender, and religion. When you see people in a hard time, don't just stare at them, but rather help them. For example, helping the elders across the street, helping the elders lift things, and so on. Also, if we can help them, do not forget to give them a big smile to make them feel happy. If we give, if we teach this good attitude to the children, uh, our country will definitely always be peaceful and prosperous, especially we as a Malaysian that has many races. Uh, in addition, we also uh, promote how to we in addition we also can promote how to achieve calmness, especially when we are out of control, such as when we are angry, sad, or when we are depressed. Even if we are in uncontrolled situation, we must think professional, like we must teach ourselves to be calm. There are many ways to achieve peace. Maybe at school you maybe already knew ways how to be calm, and it is breathing. Example, you need to take a breath and hold it, count until three, and then exhale slowly like this. Like you must take a deep breath, hold it, count until three, and then exhale. This method is very simple and everyone can do this. If everyone can calm down properly, we can avoid any fights. For example, when we are angry with someone, we must calm down first and take a time to take a deep breath. Only after regaining calm do we speak up and express our opinion. If everyone can learn how to calm themselves properly, their peace and their prosperity of the country will be guaranteed. Put love to your thoughts regarding what else we can do to try prevent violence and achieve peace. Uh, yeah. So first one, make a personal commitment to non-violence. Two, we seek someone in trouble, whether he or she is confused or upset. Don't just stare at them, but help them to calm down the situation and also help them calm by using the breathing method, like I told earlier. Okay. Three, show the younger people how to become. Show the younger people how calmness is important. Number four, show the younger people how to be kind to animals too, because animal is creature that is very loving. And number five, show the younger people to be kind uh, and to be sorry show the younger people to be kind to the vulnerable peoples, that is the people who are homeless, disability, and others. Six, six, speak out against prejudice and discrimination. uh, Number seven, if you are angry, just remember we must be calm at first, and then we must think twice before saying something to other people for the greater good. Okay. Number 8, which is lastly, most important, if you walk past by older or elder people, don't forget to give them a big smile and greet by saying hello or good morning, good evening, based on what time it is. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
I would like to thank our panel for giving the amazing points just now. It is very true that for us to promote peace and prosperity, especially in our country, Malaysia, is that we should not be racist. As being racist is very wrong, and it also allows us to not have an effective communication. As we all know that our country is known to be united by various races, colors, and also culture. So by being racist, it doesn't help us to have effective communication in our daily life. The next point that was given by our panel is that we should always help others and also calm down before reacting to a conversation. What we mean here is that we should practice non-verbal communication to allow us to have effective communication with everyone. Non-verbal communication involves body language and facial expression. So when your facial expression shows happiness or sadness, it shows that we are it shows our mood to talk to another person and have communication with everyone. And with that I can know that for us to promote peace and prosperity, it is very important for us to have an effective communication. So it is true that we can promote peace and prosperity through effective communication. With that, I would like to ask our next panel about how can we actually develop effective communication in our daily life.
First of all, I want to give a big thank you to our moderator and my friend Ivan for giving me the opportunity to speak on this platform. Today, I'm going to talk about how can we develop effective communication. There's a concept in the sales world called KISS versus KILL. KISS means keeping it short and simple versus KILL means keeping it long and leading. For example, an unexperienced salesman would kill the sale by going on and on about unimportant points. But a good salesman, on the other hand, would hit all of the important points in the shortest time possible and close the deal. Be efficient with your speaking, such as remove all type of filler word like like I guess, well, you know, because these words bring in no value to the conversation and they literally means nothing and is useless. Let me give you an example. What did you do this winter? Well, I had an okay time this week. I went snowboarding for the first time with my friend, and well, it's actually a lot harder than it looks, you know. That's about it. I guess I had fun, haha. And now compare it to this. What did you do this winter? Me and my friend went snowboarding. It was actually my first time and it was a lot harder than it looked. Right now, you will notice how the second version is much shorter, but the information be conveyed in the exact same and it sounds more confident. Tips 2. Use pause instead of filler words such as crunch. Pause can be powerful and can emphasize different parts of the message. Here's an example of pause in action with the same sentences that I mentioned before. Me and some friends went snowboarding. It was actually my first time, but it was a lot harder than it looked. It had shown using pause at different parts of the message and to deliver more powerful message. And the following skill is probably the single most important skill in terms of overall conversation ability. If you can master this one skill, you'll be able to have endless conversation with just about anybody or anyone. Tip number 3 is conversation threading. Let's take a look at the following sentences. I live in New York City, but I want to move to the suburbs. It's because I love nature and hate being around too many people. There are four different topics that you can brush off from here. You can talk about the time you want to visit New York City, and you can talk about the feeling about living in the suburbs, or you can talk about your relationship with nature, and you can also talk about how you an introvert and how you can relate with their hate with being around too many people. With a conversation die is usually because there are no other topic to talk about that they are interesting. So when giving the opportunity to branch off into different topics, choose one that you are interested in talking about. Also keep in mind that you want to be giving the other person opportunities to talk about multiple topics as well. If you don't give them topic to branch off into, the conversation will eventually reach to dead end. Now, this skill comes with practice. The more you try to look for topic to branch off, the more you will notice them. Here another example for sentences. I like going to the gym. There's a sense of satisfaction I get when I see myself getting better and something. Now, there are different topics that you can branch off from here. You can talk about how you like going to the gym. You can talk about something that satisfies you, or you can talk about something that you got better at. Think back to the last time you went on an interview. Like when I think of an interview, I think of something that really high tension and stressful, and it's definitely not something that the average person going to enjoy through. So a common mistake that a lot of people make when meeting someone new is they're entering what I like to call is interview mood. The issue with asking too many questions is that it makes the conversation very one-sided. When you ask a question, you are not sharing any information about yourself. All you are doing is demanding information from the other person. This is where the uncomfortable feeling comes from. There's a lack of connection that is being built, or you want to be share information about yourself as much as possible so that you can build rapport and build the connection. Tip number 4 is to use statement instead of questions. When you use statement, you share information about yourself. Pay attention to the next time you hang out with your closest friend or buddies. You will notice that the majority of the conversation is with statement. Now, there are a lot of different types of statement, and I will cover the main ones. We have the story of option statement. Basically, a statement that tells a small story or show your opinion on something. Here is an example of a question. What are you scared of? Here is an example of the story statement being used to replace this question. I used to be terrified of a dark. When I was a kid, I would sleep with my head under the cover to hide from all the monsters and ghosts. Right now, notice how the question shares nothing about yourself. It doesn't really give the other person a topic to jump to beside answering your question. So, you're only giving them like one things to talk about. On the other hand, the story statement share about the information while also giving the other people opportunity to talk about different topics. You are giving them different things to trade off. They can talk about whatever or not they're scared of the dark. They can talk about things they used to be do when they was a kid, and they can even talk about ghost story. All of this can be branched off of this statement. Next up, we have the cold read statement. This is a great way to use statement with someone you just met. Simple put, is an observation that you make about the other person. Instead of saying something like, hey, what do you do like to do for fun? And you can say something like, hey, you look like a fun person. I bet you have some interesting hobbies, right? This is a great trick because the person can respond in 3 different ways. For example, number 1, you wrong, and they will correct you. I'm actually not fun. I sleep all day. Number 2, you were wrong, but you will be asked why you thought so. I'm actually not fun, but what made you say that? And number 3, You are correct, and a large amount of raptor will be built. I am fun, I'm dance and sing. How do you know that? Okay, each of these way give you many more opportunity to branch off into different topic as compared to the simple question. Like, what do you do for fun? So, you are sharing information first and you're not asking anything from them. It's up to them to decide how to respond. And finally, we have the random statement. Random statements are literally the stuff that just pop up into your mind. They can range for anything about things that are happening around you, or story, or random thoughts. There are a whole lot of things that you can talk about. Here's some example. I'm tired of my friend all they talk about is sports all day. Look at that guy. She having so much fun. I wish I would be that lost. I'm thinking of taking a years off from school. Each of these statements sharing a lot of information about yourself. They also provide multiple topics to branch off into. And the three topic tips that I would cover, but each one has so much information that it would just literally take me a day to just cover it. So I just talk about humor, which is an extremely complicated way to dance and play with your word. We could talk about storytelling, which is telling an exciting story that will allow strangers jump into your world. Or we would just talk about how to have a deep conversation, which is an essential tool to building long-lasting, valuable or relationship. And last but not least, now remember, conversation is a skill, and just like any skill, there is value to learning about. The most growth will be experienced when you actually go out there and you practice what you learn. By applying some of the tips and tricks that I covered today, you will see a massive improvement in your future conversation. So that's all from me. Thank you very much.
I would like to thank our panel just now, Chin, for giving us the ways on how can we actually develop effective communication. So with what Chin told just now, for us to have a good conversation, we should actually try to think before we speak and also use the right word. Yes, the right word. For me, I personally like the tips that was given by Chin, which is the story statement, which means we should actually give a statement rather than asking a question to ourselves. So, for that, we should practice communication with ourselves first and then we try to speak with another person, as it helps to have an effective communication with everyone. And this is also very important as by developing effective communication in our daily life, it also prevents conflict, as what I told just now, as one of the importance of us for having an effective communication. Next, I would like to ask actually the both panels on what are actually the effects when we don't follow effective communication in our lives.
I would like to thank again to Sankri as our moderator. So I will start to talk about the effects when we don't follow effective communication. So, effective communication is key, especially in the workplace where people need to be on the same page and be working toward the same ultimate bigger picture goals. Working remotely can bring unique challenges to good communication as well, but often this skill is lacking, which can lead to a whole host of issues at work. So, first, first thing first is misunderstanding. So, misunderstanding can happen all the time, especially when communication is not clear. And misunderstanding out of a lack of communication can lead to some serious issue in the workplace. For example, an employee might understand what their responsibilities are if they're not clearly spelled out for them. They might then not do their job as well as they could be if they fully understood. A candidate might also misunderstood the job role if it is not clearly described in the job advertisement. Then the interview might be a waste of both uh, their time and the company's time. Likewise, if a new hire isn't properly boarded, they might misunderstand their place in the company and as such have difficult time assimilating into their new position. So next is missed opportunities. Uh, a lack of communication can often lead to missed opportunities, especially at work too. Uh, this can happen because an employee does not clearly communicate their interest in an opening for a promotion, for example, or because, for example, because they don't effectively communicate their interest or willingness to take on more responsibility as such as they may pass up for a promotion. Yes. Likewise, a manager might have an opening or an opportunity for an employee or a new candidate that they don't communicate well. And as such, as there might not be as much interest in that opportunity, even though it would have a great one, uh, it didn't sound so great because the manager didn't communicate all of the benefits of it. So yeah. Last but not least for me uh, is unnecessary conflict. So unnecessary conflict can certainly arise from a lack of effective communication. For example, a lack of communication might cause two colleagues to end up doing more work for a team project than necessary. Perhaps they thought the other person was doing a certain task, so they took it on for themselves. Yes, for themselves. Later to find out that the other person had already done it. This can cause tension on the team. So other conflicts that can arise may happen if a manager lays off a number of people on the team without communicating to the rest of the team. The reasoning for the layoff, sorry, this can cause a conflict in the office if the remaining employees feel like they've been blindsided and can no longer feel safe or secure in their jobs. Uh, Next is I will give to speaker another speaker, which is Chin.
Thank you. So number 4, the great why. The great why effect. A lack of communication can lead to the great why effect, also known as the telephone games. If one person miscommunicated information, that information can easily be passed along throughout the office. Of course, the dissemination of misinformation can lead to panic and overall desire in the workplace. Number 5, mistrust. A lack of communication can lead to mistrust in the workplace in a whole array of situations. Again, is a manager laying off several members of their team without explanation to the remaining team members? This can cause mistrust. Other example is if a manager knows of an opening for the promotion but does not communication it to their team. They might not trust that the manager has their best interest and career development in mind. Or if the company keep issue secret and brushes them under the rug, like sexual harassment or discrimination in the workplace. For example, each employee might not trust that the company is handling their responsibility. Likewise, they might not trust that they can turn to their human resource departments to take care of any personal issue either. Besides, poor communication amongst employees also limit the closeness of their relationship, which change the way in which employees engage with one another. Number 6. Low, low moral. A lack of communication can ultimately lead to low moral because effective communication can create misunderstanding, missed opportunities, conflict, the dissemination of misinformation, and mistrust. Employee might just feel overall defeated. There might not be motive to work for such a company or for such a manager who cannot communicate important matter well. Likewise, if a manager tells an employee only what they have done wrong and need to improve, and fail to communicate the positive, that employee might feel very low moral. After all, a wealth of research suggests that poor communicated lead to stress in the workplace. 80% of the US workforce reports feeling stressed because of effective company communication, a 30% jump from just 1 year ago. According to the Dynamic Signal study, another study, Workplace Stress, the need for communication and knowledge sharing, X. There are many factors that can lead to stress within the workplace. Some are obvious. For instance, when the organization is doing through respiration or financial crisis. Many other internal causes of stress include miscommunication, long work overload or work underload, working hour, harassment, job insecurity, role conflict, workstation design, non-recognition, lack of competency, insecure, working relationship, and so on. And we all know that stress, of course, can lead to low moral, which eventually lead to burnout. Burnout is not good for everyone and can cost company money. Number 7, then the last but not least, a broken company culture. At the end of the day, a lack of communicated can seriously hurt company culture. Company culture relies on communication. If not everyone in the company is not the same page about what expected of them, the value the company and its members share of the long-term and bigger picture goal, then how can everyone work seamlessly together? Likewise, with no guide or direction, and with no clear explanation for the role and responsibility of departments and individual workers, employees might be at a loss as to how to operate together. So that's all from me. Thank you very much.
I would say that both of them has given an amazing point on how that sorry on what are the effects when we don't follow effective communication. The first effect, it actually begins when there is a misunderstanding among the people. The misunderstanding happens during poor communication among the workers. And this poor communication actually causes a lot of conflict, and next it allows us to not have communication effectively, and also it makes us to like not to have a conversation, and most probably cause a lot of problem, and at the end we can achieve our motto, which is having a conversation which is effective and also good. So in conclusion, I would like to say that we can actually promote peace and prosperity through communication. Communication, we can promote peace and prosperity through communication, but there is a problem, which is how. And just now we have already explained on how can we develop effective communication in our daily life, and it helps also with our global effective communication. And the importance was also explained just now, together with the facts that actually effective communication promotes peace and prosperity. So for us to live in a country which is peaceful, we should have effective communication, as when a communication is done perfectly, peace and prosperity automatically happens in every country. For this, the first way is that we should train the upcoming generation to be more open minded towards all issues. They should also be smart when they are speaking, and also think well before speaking, as all these three components helps them to have a communication which is effective and also good. So therefore, when there are a lot of open-minded people born or created, this allows us to enjoy the beauty of this world without any problem, and also this avoids war and a lot of problem that can cause pain to the people around. And also it is important for us to follow this effective communication. That's all from all of us, and I would like to thank on behalf of all for giving us this opportunity once again. And that's it for our forum today. Thank you.